Hey, everybody. Kevin here with Pursuing Pixels, and welcome back to another edition of Save It for the Cast. And this week, it's just going to be Randall and I when it comes to the chit-chat department here. I'm going to be kicking the ball over to that in just a little bit. We kind of dive all over the map per usual, get into a little turbo graphics talk, a little bust-a-move or puzzle bobble, talk about how I never finish video games anymore, a little monkey ball, grouping our games into folders or groups, I guess, on Nintendo Switch. Randall's in the market for like a new backup bedroom TV, third-party accessories. Like I said, we're kind of all over the map here. But yeah, before I get to or kick the ball over to that, I'm going to talk about some of the stuff that I've been firing up lately. And I will say I haven't been doing a ton of gaming. And I guess before I get to that too, I did want to say we're actually coming right up here on our 5-year anniversary of starting the podcast. And we usually do an anniversary episode. We haven't recorded that just yet here. I don't know that we're planning on not doing that, or if we are planning on doing that. I'm not 100% sure just yet. But nonetheless, pretty cool to be at the 5-year mark here, and hopefully we'll do a little something special for it. We're definitely going to be doing our third year of the Pursuing Pixels James Jam Game Gam, for the third time here, which I'm super pumped about. That's also going to be to kind of celebrate our anniversary here. It's going to be a little bit delayed as well. I'm probably going to aim for like the end of June and try to work around that. I'm starting up a new job here. I just put in my notice at my current job because my 1-year review didn't go as well as I had hoped. Not because I wasn't doing a good job or anything, but just got kind of a measly raise at this corporate company. So I was like, all right, time to move on, and found a new job, thankfully, pretty quickly. So I'm a little bit overloaded with that. The band that John and I are playing our first show in about 5 years, probably a little bit over 5 years since I had that hernia surgery that I've mentioned a few times on the podcast. So we'll get to the game jam. We'll get to that. And I did want to also apologize too, because I know some of the audio lately has been a little bit noisier in the background than usual on all of our ends. So I've been trying my best to edit around that. It's resulted in some choppier than usual edits. So I do apologize for that. There's a little bit of that on this one in the last episode, and some of the recent episodes. I'm going to try my best to get to the bottom of that and work around that, but it hasn't been too bad or anything, but it just drives me a little bit nuts when I'm editing, especially with headphones on. But I apologize for that, and I'll do my best to keep working around that here like I have been. But yeah, onto the games that I've been playing lately. And like I said, I haven't had a ton of time because I've been going on all those job interviews recently and just really been kind of pressed for time when it comes to, and kind of just fried by the time I get home when I do have some time and I'm not running around going on some extra job interviews. But nonetheless, I've been firing some stuff up on Xbox Game Pass. I saw that Another Crab's Treasure just came out from Aggro Crab, and I was such a huge fan of Going Under. I believe I talked about that game a couple times on the podcast, and dove into this one very, very briefly because it seemed like it just really wasn't running great on Xbox One. Then I tried playing it via the cloud version, and it was running a little smoother, but it just seemed like I just got off on the wrong start, and I was over analyzing maybe I should just wait until I get an Xbox Series S here. So I really didn't end up playing too much of that to really give any real impression. But I am curious to check that one out. But after that, I did end up downloading, I'm a big golf game fan. So I downloaded, I saw that they added the new EA Sports PGA Tour game. So I downloaded that, or actually I didn't download that. I was also playing that. I was actually playing everything I'm going to talk about here. I was playing via the cloud primarily. I'm only going to talk about one other game as well, but I was playing, this PGA Tour game via the cloud, and I was super pumped to just be able to fire it up. It was a little annoying. I had to jump through those EA hoops. I know John recently just talked about that with the Star Wars game that he talked about, Fallen Order Jedi or whatever it's called. But yeah, I was able to, once I got through the hoops of just making an account, which I don't even think I really needed to do anything. I'm sure they're gathering a bunch of data from me or whatever, but I just agreed to whatever I needed to agree to, and then got right into the gameplay. And again, this is a perfect game to play on the cloud, being that there was a few hitches with the visuals here and there, but nothing that affected my gameplay or anything like that. And I will say, the way that they do these more modern, I was talking to my brother about it actually last night. We had my nephew's birthday party, and again, my brother and I grew up playing these golf games like crazy, whether it be the Mario Golf series or the Tiger Woods, all the way back on the PS1 era and beyond. But he kind of reminded me that they switched to this mechanic where you kind of pull the joystick back and then push it forward to swing pretty early on in the PlayStation 2 era, where to me, I felt like it was always kind of the Mario Golf style, or even I always think of Tiger Woods 99 on the PlayStation 1, where it was you would just kind of there's like a meter and you stop it at the top and then you stop it again at the bottom for like your accuracy. So you got like a power gauge and then stop it again on the way down to like, hit it as well. If you shank it too much on the bottom, you'll totally whiff the shot and hit it way off to the side or duff it or whatever. But yeah, I don't necessarily love the pull back the joystick mechanic, but I will say I like it more than I remembered liking it. But I just feel like I never fully know what I'm doing wrong. I mean, this does show you right on the screen. There's like a radial dial that shows you exactly what you did with the joystick, so you can at least see what you did. But I feel like a lot of times I feel like I'm doing the same exact motion, or like to do a shot where you're taking a shot with a little less power. It's a lot tougher to like pull the joystick back like 82% instead of just like stopping a meter at about 82%. But nonetheless, I dove right into this, and I actually just played about 9 holes on Pebble Beach, just because it was like it's a course that I'm super familiar with, not in real life or anything, but just in like playing it in a bunch of different video games over the years, even having a Pebble Beach game on Sega Saturn. And yeah, just got pretty great graphics, nothing insane, but I did love like a lot of these games, they make you create a player and then they like force you to use that player. I was able to just dive right in after creating a player real quickly with just like some template sets. I was able to just pick a pro golfer and just dive right in, because like my player, I'm assuming you got to grind in like career mode and buff up the stats and get some new clubs and upgrades and whatever. But nonetheless, just a really solid golf game that I'm glad that they have this like EA Play lumped into the Game Pass situation, because otherwise I would never buy this game. Yeah, I'm having quite a bit of fun with it so far, and I'm looking forward to just firing that up when I have a few minutes to kill and just playing a random course. And there were 39 courses, best that I could tell, and that all seemed to be unlocked right from the beginning. It seemed like there was nothing that I was not able to select. I guess I didn't scroll all the way to the end, but I was like, okay, it looks like they're not gating me off on anything here, which is awesome. And then the other game that I fired up that I played through the first chapter of is this game called Jusant. I'm sure I'm pronouncing that incorrectly. It's a French word, and it's from the development team Don't Nod, or the studio Don't Nod. They're most famous for the games Life is Strange, or the series Life is Strange, and they've made a few other games as well. But this is a really beautiful game, really cool game. It just kind of caught my eye. Again, I was just kind of scrolling through what was available on Game Pass and kind of looking at the things that were like, okay, this is only playable via, Xbox Series X or S or with the cloud or whatever. So I was like, let me see how this one runs. And again, a few visual glitches here and there, nothing that affected my gameplay. And this seems to be kind of like a narrative adventure, but kind of wordless. There's some words on the screen here and there for like mechanics and tutorial type stuff. But other than that, it doesn't seem like there's any dialogue, best I can tell, at least not so far through the first chapter. And you're playing in this like kind of like desert wasteland, and there's no real combat or anything like that. And it seems like you're mostly just kind of like rock climbing through. And I really love how the gameplay works. You basically just pull the left trigger for your left hand, the right trigger for your right hand, and you just basically have to be holding one of those down to be holding on to something or whatever. And then you just keep kind of alternating. Takes a little bit of getting used to, but it's actually pretty. Yeah, at least for me, I was able to pretty quickly get the knack of the controls. And in certain sections, like if you're just climbing up a ladder or kind of like a mesh net, you can just like rip right up that ladder or whatever, no problem. But then you'll get to other sections where you got to like kind of, plant your carabiner or whatever in the wall, and then, or I don't know all the climbing terminology, so please forgive me. I have a lot of friends that are really into climbing, so this is going to be super cringe if they're tuning in by any chance. But basically, you got to put like a hook in the wall or whatever, and then you can like rappel yourself down and then run side to side on the wall, and you can, jump. You can even sort of double jump, not necessarily like in midair, but like if you're trying to reach like a really high, grapple point or whatever you want to call it. That's, out of your reach for like a single jump. You can kind of like plant your little carabiner or whatever into the wall. You have up to 3 of those, and then you can do like a jump and then hit jump again to kind of like scramble up the wall and then grab. And then if you miss, thankfully, if you planted that carabiner, if you still have one left, if you fall, you're still kind of like dangling from your rope, and then you can kind of like use one of the other shoulder buttons to either rappel yourself down or retract yourself back up to that point and kind of retry. And it seems to be pretty forgiving on the checkpoints. At first, I was like, is this going to be like a getting over it with Bennett Foddy situation? Like if I fall, I'm just going all the way back down. But best I can tell, I did fall a couple times from pretty high heights, and I didn't take any damage or anything. You do have a stamina meter. If you can find like a decent rest point, you can actually just push down the left stick and take a quick breather and recover some steam. If you're on like a ladder or one of those nets, at least that's the times that it's like triggered me to let me know that I could do it. Maybe you could do it at any point as long as you're gripped with both hands or whatever. But it's just like a really smooth playing game, and it kind of reminds me of like almost something like Ico or Eco, if anyone's familiar with that game from the PlayStation 2 era, like in the sense of like the just mysterious sense of adventure. I guess that game has a little bit of combat, where this game, at least seemingly so far, it's all about the rock climbing, and you got this little adorable frog that is in your little like satchel that at least at this first little checkpoint, as I got through the end of the first chapter, I kind of like activated this portal thing that the frog seemed to like do the final bit of the activation. Otherwise it seemed like kind of shy and timid up to this point. Again, I'll mostly just making little, squeaks and noises and stuff like that and cuddling up with you. But I'm just really, really enjoying this game a lot so far. And I just like all the little touches. Like when I went back to the main menu, I just got to the chapter 2 and I was clearly at this, like, I don't know, I just activated after that portal or whatever got activated. It's not really a portal, or at least I don't know what it is yet, but it's not like I walked through it and teleported anywhere, but it kind of like a bunch of like nature sprouted up around it, and then this like kind of like beanstalk sprouted up that kind of allowed me to access the next higher platform or whatever. And then I paused the game there and went back to the main menu. And then when I went to the main menu, my character's like sitting on the ledge right there, right at the last spot that I was at. Or maybe it just happened to be because I did pause it right next to that beanstalk. But nonetheless, it was like right at this new section of the game I was in, and I'm sitting right on the ledge and getting ready to pick up the game right from there. I don't know exactly how it loads when you pick continue, because I actually didn't check that out. But nonetheless, I'm just really, really enjoying this game. It's like the perfect, like I turned out all the lights. I actually played it kind of early in the morning here. But nonetheless, I just really, really, it's like the perfect kind of adventure I was looking for, like kind of low stakes, although my hands were definitely sweating. Like if, it obviously doesn't feel like you're climbing this treacherous mountain that you're climbing in the game. And it's really kind of, I just love the mysterious element too, because there's all these like canoes and kayaks or whatever, like, and all these like nautical themes going on and these boats, but you're clearly in this like, you're climbing up higher and higher. And you're also in this like kind of deserted like wasteland kind of situation. Like it almost seems like apocalyptic or something. I don't know exactly how to describe it, but it's just such a cool atmosphere and setting. It's very beautiful. Really kind of minimal music, but when it comes in, it's really, really nice. I just really can't say enough great things about this game. But yeah, nonetheless, I'll leave the rambling here, keep it kind of short and sweet on the video games talk, at least on my end, and kick it over to Randall and I. And yeah, until next week, we'll catch you then, and take care.
Glad to get that off my chest. That was
yeah, that's a bummer, man.
That he's
that's definitely a bummer.
If it wasn't,
you were riding that high.
You know how much I love Turbo Graphics and Turbo CD and Turbo Duo, all the above. Like I love that library. I hold it. I think I might hold it in as high of esteem as I do the Genesis or Super Nintendo, which is really saying something.
Yeah,
for me personally. But so like all of that, plus it being my resolution game and just getting this analog duo, I'm like, I need to see this through. I just need to push. I need to have this happen.
I admire the dedication, man. I just don't beat anything anymore these days.
Yeah.
Especially when it's like a retro thing.
The jank can be a lot to overcome. There's no doubt about that. It really
can be. Like I don't have the patience sometimes these days.
And to be honest, if you turn it on and you get like half an hour or less of enjoyment out of it, that's perfectly valid way of interacting with retro stuff. It's fine.
Yeah.
It's totally fine.
Even modern stuff for that matter. I mean, there's a lot of games where I'm like, like theoretically, like if I didn't ever work and all I did was play video games, like I would play more of that game.
Sure.
But like there's a lot of games where I'm just like, okay, like I kind of get what it's all about. Like,
yep.
Like, yeah, if I had infinite time, I would play more of this, but like I'm happy with the amount of time I played.
Yeah, and then there's regardless, there's infinite video games anyway. So even still, would you spend that much more time with it? Even with infinite time?
It's like I'd almost rather try a bunch of different games than try. Same thing with like at a restaurant. Like I used to love when we would go out to eat with like Saul because he would just order, like he would just want to try everything that a place had. So he just be like, let's order all this and just share everything. And it's like, okay, now I got to try a little bit of everything.
Totally.
And see what this place is all about.
Big fan of that experience. Yes.
Yeah. Like I don't have the kind of money to throw around to do that myself. But when he's like, hey, we're out on the companies, we're paying for it. And we're just basically like checking this restaurant out and seeing how they do things.
Yep.
So
variety of experience.
Yeah.
Yes. For sure.
Yeah. And that's honestly, that's why that's why the Switch is so sweet. Like just having all those games right at my disposal. Obviously any modern console is like that these days, but like the fact that it also has that handheld portability. So if I'm just like, I just feel like playing a couple Uppo on or Railbound levels before I go to bed. I can just literally pick it up and do that without thinking about it.
Yeah. Another thing that I'm probably going to talk about in the future that I could also give impressions for once I played a little bit more is that the new, they don't even call it Bust a Move anymore, but that new Puzzle Bobble Every Bobble or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, that's actually on sale on the eShop right now. I know you probably have a physical copy, I imagine, but nice. I'm kind of curious about that actually.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a good version ultimately.
Okay,
there's I have some minor squabbles with it, but I would ultimately say if you're wanting a Bust a Move on Switch, I don't think that's a bad way to go at all.
Okay, is it like obviously it's not anywhere near the remake level of like those Pocky and Rockies and like it's not from like In or anything like that, is it?
I don't know. It's not even, I think it's like a whole new game for what that's worth. Like, obviously the mechanics are very old, but.
Yeah. Well, I wonder if it's kind of like, for some reason, it kind of reminded me of that, that Ninja Ya Maru game that I scooped up. Cause it's like a modern game or it's like a new game, but it's definitely like, they're using the old mechanics of the old games.
Oh, of course. Yeah.
But yeah.
That's
puzzle,
good.
Something about that Puzzle Bobble formula is just so fun.
Oh, of course. Yeah. I don't know that it's still, and granted, there's a lot of nostalgia wrapped up in it, but I don't know if it touches, Bust a Move for Dreamcast style, but.
That one, there is something about that one. And
it's magic.
It obviously is the nostalgia for playing it, but like, I felt it the first time that you showed that game to me. I was like, just instantly like, this game's amazing. Like we could play this all night and just never stop.
Correct.
Like
yes.
I still will never forget. I'm like, it doesn't matter if I am winning. Like, cause there were some times where we would play it. I'm like, I'm winning like 80% of the games. And then there were some times we play where you'd be winning 80% of the games. And I'm like, it's equally fun to be the one who's just kicking the other person's ass. Just as much fun as it is to get your ass kicked and be like, no, I'm coming back. Just something about that with that game. It just like you always felt like you could win for whatever reason.
It does. And I think games like, Puzzle Fighter are maybe a little bit more well-known or popular, but I think Bust a Move 4 taps into that same exact energy in a two-player context especially. That competitive puzzler. And it's so damn good. And you're right. It's just so much fun regardless. And there's the momentum. There's just an innate momentum, almost like you're playing like a sport or something, like when you are in your zone in a game like that. I don't know. It's good.
That's a great analogy.
Yeah. It's great.
Yeah,
So Puzzle Bobble Every Bobble is not quite that, but it's a good version of that on Switch. It's probably the best version you're going to get on Switch.
Okay. Hey, I'll take that. That. Unless they're going to re-release one of the old versions.
Man,
I'll take that all day long.
For sure.
I'm kind of pumped about that new monkey ball that they announced.
I
always get kind of hyped for those. For
Me
whatever
too.
Reason, even though I never get them anymore, but
I do get them, and then I don't know that I even played the last one I picked up, but I'm always happy that they still are a thing.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm always at too. Like, okay, I'm glad they're just still pouring some love onto these.
Agreed. I don't even know what the new one is called versus the old ones.
I think there's like 2 new ones too, because I could have sworn I went online and saw that there was like 2 different monkey ball game, like 2 different names.
I've got Banana Mania. That one, I don't know when that one came out. I grabbed that one on Switch. I know that.
Okay. I haven't grabbed any of the Switch versions. But that is one that I wouldn't mind snagging. I've actually been meaning, you know how you can like make the groups on the Switch now?
No.
Like you can actually like put games into like categories and folders and stuff on the home screen.
I have not messed with any of that. Okay.
Yeah. You can like make like a group. Like at one point, I haven't kept up with it in a while, but I like put one and made one of just like all the games that I have a physical copy of. So I just know like, okay, here I can like go into this folder and know I need a cartridge for these ones.
Oh, that's really good.
But I really want to make, especially because, like, again, like you mentioned, like the dock, like when I go over to my buddies' houses and like we usually play like Mario Kart, but I've been like, man, I have so many fucking awesome multiplayer games on my Switch. That, like, if we ever have a time, usually there's like 5 or 6 of us, but if there's ever a time when it's like, hey, there's only 4 of us, like, man, why don't I just pop my Switch in and play some like Flat Heroes or play some Tower Fall or play some. You know, there's just so many games. So I want to just like make a folder of like multiplayer, like, you know, either co-op or versus games.
That's a great idea.
Pop this in and like, let's go play any of these here, guys.
Shoot, I had no clue. That's great. Yeah, because I got sick of that stuff with 3DS and Wii U. I definitely organized my stuff on those platforms kind of that way.
Yeah, they added, you can just like, I think you can just like add a folder or I think they call it a group or something. And then you can, you know, name it whatever you want and then add whatever games you have into that group.
Okay.
So, yeah, it's not bad. It's not bad. And then obviously you can still just look at the main, you know, list of games too. You have to like just hit L or R, I think opens up like the group tab. And then you can pick what group you want to go into from there.
I really like the idea of the physical group. That's very smart. That's a good idea. Yeah,
between that and then I got to make that multiplayer group because I do want to just make a list of like I just want to like show you guys like because when you start scrolling through the list of like 400 games, you're like
overwhelming.
I don't even know where to start, you know. But there's so many of these. Actually, when me and my buddy when we take that trip out of town, that'll be a perfect time to break out some of those games.
Oh yeah.
So.
Oh yeah. Do a little tabletop action with some of that stuff potentially.
Yeah, seriously, or potentially get multiple Switches going. Like if you know, get some online Killer Queen 5-on-5 or something.
That's a cool game.
4-on-4, whatever it is.
I like Killer Queen.
That is a cool one. Yeah, what do you got going on the rest of this week, man?
Just getting ready for Tina's mom to arrive, just kind of cleaning
when
up
does
the place.
When does she get in?
Saturday, and I think she's going to be here for a week, I want to say.
Okay.
At least.
Nice.
Yeah, so through like Easter time certainly, and then, you know,
perfect.
So so that'll be nice.
Nice.
Otherwise, just work stuff.
Yeah.
Probably, I don't know, maybe I'll try to sneak some East Book 2 in before Saturday just to keep some momentum going on that beforehand.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we are also looking at getting another TV. So that's
like an additional TV or just upgrading?
No, an additional TV. Yeah, you gotta
nice,
do
man.
The infamous bedroom TV. We've resisted the bedroom TV for this whole time period, but I think it's gonna happen now. So
hey, nothing wrong with that, man. Nothing wrong with that. And then you can go either route. You can either just get a good bedroom TV, or you can always get like an upgraded TV for the living room and move the living room TV into the bedroom.
Is a consideration. But even things like, you know, the modern TVs all have like that Xbox, well, not all, but like Xbox app, and like you can do Xbox streaming. Right?
I forgot about that.
Yeah. Pair a controller with your TV and then do Xbox streaming. Like, you know, do that and then get like a cheap Switch dock and you're kind of halfway in business already without too much doing. That's not so bad.
That's not a bad idea at all. They even make some of those like kind of like portable Switch docks. Like so it's not like actually a dock. It's just like literally like a cable that you can plug in and But I guess then at that point it's not charging though. But they make a bunch of different options, yeah.
Best Buy's got a really nice low profile like Insignia one that I think is under $50 that works with like the new OLED Switch as well as the old one too. But it's like it's not as tall as like the official Switch dock either, which is sometimes a benefit too for not like where you can place it right to not block your TV or anything else.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
Be
like slide it under
profile.
something where it's low enough to fit under something or something.
Yeah. So I'm kind of thinking about that sort of thing, so okay. All right.
Yeah. That's not a bad, I never thought about that aspect too. Like I always think about just plopping my Switch into somebody else's dock, but if you have like multiple TVs in the same house and all you have to do is you have another dock to hook it. I mean, obviously it's an added expense, but it's like, whatever. It's convenient.
Yeah, I mean, I've definitely already used that for doing the exercise stuff with the Ring Fit. I'm using one of those like third party docks.
Okay, nice. So, and it works no problem.
Yeah, no issues.
Nice, because I'm always, how we are, like back in the, like I'm always like a little bit reluctant for third party stuff. But
I know
for certain stuff like that, I'm like, it's just a charger. It's just but even to be fair, I have one. I think it might be made by Hori, but if not, it's definitely licensed by Nintendo because it has like the little Switch logo on it. But it's one of those like you're supposed to be able to like hook it up to one of the USBs, like right on. Well, obviously on anything, but right onto the Switch. And then it's like a 4 dock to like dock 4 Joy-Cons on it. And like that thing is real finicky for me. Like it doesn't charge them good. I have to like. If you put them all the way in, it doesn't charge. You have to like lift them up a little bit, like off. It's like real cheesy. I mean, maybe I just got a bad one. Obviously, anything could happen. But
I got one of those ones that does the Pro controller charging, and then 2 side ones for Joy-Cons. But I use those side ones for the NES controllers, which are like a little bit bigger, but they don't like have a hard stop at the pedestal. So like. The NES controllers fit on either side there to charge those and the Pro controller, so that's kind of what I use that for. Yeah,
the best investment I made in regards to like my Switch charging situation, which I guess I shouldn't say that because I don't use it that much, but I bought one of those like dog bone controller things.
Yeah,
but it has like a charging port on the top. Oh. So like the regular one that the Switch comes with doesn't have that.
Yeah,
you can like buy one for I think it's just like $10 more, or maybe it might be $20 more. But it has like a USB-C at the top, so you can like plug that in. And then I have these like USB extension cords, so every now and then, especially for streaming, because like even though it obviously doesn't matter, like because like I said, I'll put a 40-minute video up and people watch 5 minutes of it, which again I don't care because I'm just streaming it and playing it anyways. So. Doesn't make a difference to me, but like even it just bugs me if like I'm playing a game and like the low battery indicator comes up while I'm playing a game on a stream. So I'm just like I just want to or even just like just the like I'm making a video. I don't want all these like notifications popping up and whatever So like for me it's just like, hey, it just kind of like if I'm plugged in, I know that's not going to pop up while I'm playing. Obviously I'm not using the Joy-Cons really while I'm streaming.
Yeah.
But it's just kind of honestly nice just to be like, okay, I'm bringing it over to a friend's house. Oh, shit, I forgot to charge my Joy-Cons. Like, let me use this. Or people are coming over. Oh, man, my yellow Joy-Cons, I forgot to charge those up.
Yep.
Just nice to have as a backup.
And most people have access to a USB-C cord.
Yeah, at this point. I'm so glad that's become so universal at this point. Yeah, I hope it just is like stays for a long time to come. Until they come up with something truly better. Like I don't want to see anything else.
No, that is the de facto standard. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Ready to get this party started here?
Yeah.
A little Diablo to kick things off.
Yeah. What am I going to say? We'll find out.
I'm in the same boat, kind of. I was like, I took a shower when I got home because I was like, I just need to like think about these puzzle games and just try to like really just think if I have something to say because I'm just going to say the same shit I always say about puzzle games, but
that's all right.
About different games, I guess. All right. Ready?
Yep.